Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. It's always exciting to step out from your comfort zone and come into a world that you're so open to and so encouraged to learn every day about.
But I don't think you are uncomfortable anymore because, going by the chat that we
Or
were
I'm a
having.
good actor.
Absolutely. So, do you really keep yourself so fit and in such great health?
No, so honestly, fitness is a big deal right now, and I think it should be the most important part of your life. It should be not the most important, I think it should be an element of your life somewhere or the other. I honestly didn't like it at all initially, but I didn't like going to a gym. I was always someone who was into sports. In fact, I'm very proud to say that. In my when I was growing up, I was one of the only girls that played hockey, that played basketball, that was a state level, athlete, national level football player.
A round of applause on that.
No, I mean,
Actually, I wanted to say that.
no, I mean, I mean, not to praise myself, but what I was trying to say is that in a time and place where girls weren't encouraged to do sport, my parents totally and completely encouraged me, and hence I was very genetically blessed. I never put on weight because I did all these things. Having said that, once I became a mum, I realized that the weight just never goes; it just stays there, and I'm sure a lot of the ladies here will agree with me that it's tougher than when you were much younger and you could eat anything and be anything. And it's a little change that you do for yourself. I've always related to your food and your exercise regime as part of your investment in yourself. So, apart from it being really important, it's the biggest investment that you can put into yourself because I mean, one day of not working out, and I can feel myself going, lower in energy, strangely, as to what one would think that no, you get really tired. I don't think any of that happens. So, having said that, in COVID, I realized that it was important to pick up and do this, even though I didn't like it initially, but do this as something that is your medicine for, or your investment into oneself.
Correct.
So I did start this much after COVID. I mean, during COVID, I started it, and today it's just part of my life. So I think it's evolving every day as a person. But I do think fitness helps you think better. It helps you feel better, and it just overall changes your approach to life in general, which you totally and completely neglect on a regular day because you're so busy, you're a mom, you have your business happening, you have your acting happening, you have this thousand commitments. But I always say that either you get sick or sickness will find you. So find that route to invest in yourself.
I think you said that very, very well. And the reason why I asked this question is I am a fitness enthusiast myself. And now we go to more to matters which matter to the people here. And I'm sure they're all willing to and very, very curious to know about your journey as an actor, how it started. And if you could share something on that.
Yeah, so I'd love to share my journey. I hope I don't bore you guys, but I'd love to share my journey. Acting was never was never a career option for me, honestly. I wouldn't relate to myself that way. I came from a very middle class home. There were no actors. There was nobody from the industry at all in it. I happened to be sitting outside my college, and when you're young, they come to colleges and they pick up these kids to be part of the background. So all my friends were going, and I was very excited to go because I was like, we're all going to hang for the day. And we landed up going there, and the girl who was opposite the main actor had not turned up. So they came to me and they asked me to come there and be the second lead, opposite the girl. I was so upset. I was like, no, I want to be in the crowd. I want to be part of the crowd. Like, that's what I came here to do, have a good day. But anyways, I went there. That ad never really happened eventually. And it was all a lull. But at that ad shoot, something went right, and I started getting these calls from a lot of people randomly. Like, there was no kind of, I didn't have like a portfolio done. I didn't have like, things put into place. My aunt always saw me as someone who could be part of modeling in the industry. I never saw myself at all. My parents thought she was crazy, absolutely, because my parents were like, don't spoil our child. Then the industry was a big bad word, the film industry, you know. But having said that, so she took out these pictures literally of me cutting a cake and stuff like that. And she was like, I think that you have potential. And then the next thing I know is that I was selected for an ad with Mr. Bachchan, which was a big deal. I mean, and it'll always be the biggest
Of
deal
course,
of
of
my
course.
career. And from there, it just never stopped. From my first ad itself, I started getting movie offers, from movie offers. I started getting better movie offers. Then I had a break for 10 years. And I thought, and like everyone says, you know, once an actor takes that break, you're not coming back. But I got back on screen, and I'm very grateful that Amir Khan Productions has, signed me on. So I think my journey has been a totally unplanned one, but I think if I've done anything right, I've given it my 100%. It has earned some fruits somewhere, and I am who I am today, all through the love, all through a zillion blessings. And I think most importantly, when you see my characters, or when you relate to me as an actor, the biggest blessing that I have is that I'm taken back home to two families and to their homes, which I think as an actor, more than your 1,000 awards and the biggest films that you get, you are part of people's homes. So 10 years down the line, people in the South and people here still remember me as Aditi, or still remember me as Hasini. And I think there's nothing more rewarding than that. We all wait for validation, right? We all wait that if you get an award, you've validated the fact that you've done well. But we forget to realize and open our eyes to see that after 15 years, Jaane To has been 15 years ago, people still relate to you as Aditi. I mean, what more validation do you need in that zone? So that's been pretty much my journey.
A round of applause, of
Thank
course. There's no need to ask for it now. So, Genilia, you also spoke about the break that you took. And it would be great if you could dwell a little more on it, you know, how it happened, why it happened, and then consequently you came back also. All of that. And how has this journey been to being a mother, married life, all of that?
So I got married in 2012, and like everyone and every individual, after a particular time in your life, you feel everything is monotonous and you're not reinventing yourself. I felt my chance to just take a break was at the time that I got married, because I wanted to give my 100% to the family that I was in. So prior to that, I worked 365 days. I worked in 4 industries, so while people thought that I was just doing, Bollywood films, I was doing films all over the South, which, I mean, today the South is a big deal. Then people didn't know that such big films. I've been part of Rajamouli's
Absolutely. And a round of applause
Yeah.
for that. Genilia has worked in 4 different film industries and very, very versatile as an actor.
Yes, yes. So that was my part of doing work, and honestly, I missed all birthdays. I missed every time my family got together, I was hardly around because I was working, because of the fact that I was not just stationary at one place. I had to travel to 4 different industries. So when I got married, I decided to take a break. I thought it would be a year and a half, but then I got my babies, and I didn't understand how to multitask. I was like, I could either be this or I could be that. I don't think I was 100% happy in that zone, because I thought there was so much more to me to give also. And I thought I was very happy and I thought I was doing a great job. But Ritesh saw me and he said, you need to get back to the screen because that's what you love. I was like, I can't do this and that. He said, you can do everything. You're a mom and you'll figure it out. And I kept saying, yeah, it's so easy for him to talk. I have to do all this hard work. But he kept pushing me through this period that I was off. To a point when he decided to direct, he said, "You have to act in it." Now I couldn't say no because I was like, so he said, "You'll figure it out." And I started acting back again with that film. And I realized I figured it out. And I realized I was a much happier mom. I was a much happier person at home because I was doing what I loved the most. I was doing something that was mine versus, when we become moms, we forget the fact that we are individuals as well, and we can do a lot, of course, handling a home is handling the biggest thing ever, but I also think we do it thinking that it's our duty to do it, and we don't know how to do better. But if you sit and strategize and figure out your life, I feel that you can do both, and you should do both, because there's an element of you that you're losing out on when you don't put yourself back into what you're meant to do. And that's why I came back to films. I started doing films again. I don't do it as often as I used to, but that's fine. That's a small thing, small adjustment that you make in your life, and a happy one too. And today I'm back to doing, I'm doing a film in Hindi. I'm doing one, I did a film in Marathi, which was widely acclaimed, and also a new industry that I was part of. And then there's also, I'm doing a South film again. So it's the whole system, it's the whole cycle starting back again. I'm very excited with my new phase into films. I've seen a lot change, I've seen a lot evolve, and all in a good way.
And again, say that you are one of the luckiest people on the planet. Why I'm saying that is because, and a round of applause for that, her husband is the one who pushed her back into acting. Generally, we also come across these stories, and there is a perception that once women get married, there is a resistance to them to continue to working in this industry. It's been the exact opposite with you. So again, you're very, very lucky.
Yes, I am. Or maybe I'm just amazing.